Okay, so we are live once again, and I've got another Batman classic television series figure to open, and this is Two-Face. See, Two-Face. And of course, we all remember the classic episode of Batman where Two-Face, so brilliantly played by Clint Eastwood, uh, in a script so brilliantly written by Warren or Harlan Ellison. Uh, you know, wait a minute, you don't remember that episode? Oh yeah, that's because it never got made. Yeah, they were actually going to do a Two-Face episode. It was going to be written by Harlan Ellison, and supposedly Clint Eastwood was the guy they were looking at to play Two-Face, but it wound up not happening. I'm not sure why, but if I had to guess, I would say maybe just the tragic nature of Harvey Dent as a character just wasn't fitting the vibe they were going for. So they probably decided to, concentrate on more sort of lighthearted villains. Whereas Two-Face, I think even like a comedic version of Two-Face, he's going to be dominated by tragedy. Like even when they tried to do like a goofy version of Two-Face in Batman Forever, he's still a guy who winds up falling to his death because he's so desperate to get his coin back. Like, he's just kind of that ruled by his fate. Speaking of which, we can see that one of the accessories he comes with is the Two-Face coin. So I'm pretty excited about that. The other accessory he comes with is just an empty space because he's not allowed to come with a gun. Oh, look, my Aunt June's here. Looks like I am a little late. No, you're not too late. I haven't opened the thing up yet. By the way, anybody who's watching, give my Aunt June a congratulations because she's now a grandmother of an adorable little baby boy. I did get to see a picture of him, so everybody give her a congratulations for that. So congratulations, Aunt June. But yeah, so they almost did Two-Face on the show, and they didn't. But Harlan Ellison did start writing the episode, and they did take what he wrote. I don't remember if he had like a full treatment or like it was just a treatment or like a full script, but they adapted what he'd written into a comic book, 40 years after the fact in the Batman 66 comic book. And they did a special issue. It had a cover by Alex Ross, and it's actually Alex Ross's artwork that this figure is based off of. And you can really see it on the back here. They did try to give him a little bit of a Clint Eastwood sort of look. Now, I was discussing this with my friend Rudy, and he was saying that he'd wished that they'd made the figure look like William Shatner, because, of course, we all know William Shatner did the voice of Two-Face in the Batman versus Two-Face animated series, which also was supposed to take place within the continuity of the television show. And that was an excellent animated movie. The first one, The Return of the Caped Crusaders, it was pretty good too. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. But the Two-Face one was just fantastic. I loved that one. So so I'm hoping maybe at some point Mcfarlane can, they can use this same tooling and just get like how they did with these Filmation figures. Just give him a new head that looks like Shatner, and repaint this figure to look like his appearance on the animated movie. I think that would work out really well. So we can see that I've got two more of these to open coming up. This is just going to be the week of Batman 66 figures. So we'll have the New Adventures of Batman and Robin from Self-Said Show, which these are actually more like Batman 77 because that's when that show came out. But it was Adam West and Burt Ward doing the voices, so I feel like it's justified enough in terms of having that be part of this spin-off line. Oh, and for those of you wondering about it, there is the Freeze Ray that I've started working on for Mr. Freeze. It's not perfect, but I managed to find this this Freeze Ray that had the right old school sci-fi look to it, and for this laser rifle, and it was actually made to go with Masters of the Universe figures, so I had to shrink it up a bit so it would look correct with a figure this size. So I'm thinking once I'm probably going to clip the ball off of the end and maybe try to attach that rod at the top that the Freeze Ray had, on the show and maybe give it a little bit more of a proper stock like his freeze ray had on that. This is all just stuff that I'm planning right now. But at least he has a freeze ray now. How they put a Mr. Freeze figure out without a freeze ray, I have no idea. Like I don't care what kind of legal mumbo jumbo is in that DC contract. He could have found a way around it. The other Mr. Freeze action figures that McFarlane has done have come with the freeze ray. I think they could have made it work. But let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and open up the former district attorney of Gotham City. And get him out of that package. Let's see. I'm looking around because I thought I had that Batman figure. Yeah, there it is. It's on that table. All right. Because we'll definitely want to compare with Batman. And even though it did kind of start to rip a little bit at the top there, once I got it loose, the bubble came off rather easily on this one. So let's go ahead and have a look at the back of the package because we haven't really done that since they keep sticking to the back of the package. So you got this swirly blue background and the little purple and green swirls where the accessories would go over them. All of these card fronts are the same except for the logos at the top. So they don't even have the character's name on the front of the package. You got to look at the back of the package to show that. And, we'll go ahead and have a look at the nice Mike Allred artwork there. So for those of you who haven't seen the previous video where I talked about it, might as well talk about it here since, this is the one that it's actually on that package. All right, so let's go ahead and get the coin out first. And this coin is made of plastic. A lot of the times, Harvey Dent figures will come with the coin, and I really like that. Usually it is made out of metal, but this one is made out of plastic. So you live, you die. Yeah, there's the scarred side of the coin. You got all these hack marks on it where he just kind of, cut at it with a knife. And it says, Freedom 1929, in Gotham we trust. In Heroes we trust. That's what it says. So I guess they don't want to put, God on there because they don't want to get into a whole religious thing, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so that's what the coin looks like. And it is kind of a matte. It's not metal, it's plastic. And it's not even painted to look metallic. It's like this matte gray. But it looks cool. I really like this coin. So yeah, the Two-Face figure from Batman Forever came with an aluminum replication of Two-Face's coin, and it was pretty nice. And then for the Dark Knight Rises, not just the Dark Knight. I'm sorry, not Dark Knight Rises. For when Mattel did their Movie Masters Dark Knight figures, they had a Harvey Dent and a Two-Face, and Harvey Dent's coin was just the double-sided coin, and Two-Face's one was the one that had been damaged in the explosion. So, and that's the only accessory Two-Face has, which is not even really an accessory for the figure, but more like a life-sized role-play item. But it's a good one to have. I like having this. I could imagine. I was beyond the age of playing with action figures when Batman Forever came out, but I could imagine a kid having the coin and flipping it himself while he's playing with the action figures and just kind of using that to determine what Two-Face does. Pretty cool. All right, so here is Two-Face out of the package, and very cool looking figure. I really like the colors on this. This is, like I said, it's based on his comic book appearance, which was the cover was done by Alex Ross. So this is mostly based off of how Alex Ross painted Two-Face. Now, the interior artwork of that comic was done by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. And if you're a fan of DC Comics artwork, you should know that name. If you're a fan of just DC Comics merchandise in general, you should definitely know his artwork because it was on a lot of artwork in the 1980s. He was the guy who did the style guide in the 1980s. So all of his artwork artwork is stuff that you would have seen in the merchandise of the time. So he illustrated that comic, and it was written by the late great Len Wein, who is a guy who unfortunately is no longer with us. Len Wein, probably his greatest contribution to comics was he was the creator of Wolverine over at Marvel. But over at DC, he was no slouch either. He created Swamp Thing, who's one of my favorite characters, and did a lot of work on Batman, both as a writer and an editor. And he was friends with Harlan Ellison and gotten his blessing to be the guy who wrote the comic book that the episode would have been based on. So there's your background on where this figure came from. Because I know a lot of you are like, he wasn't on the TV show. What are they doing? But of course, he doesn't even have the TV show logo on there, not the one with the little green explosion behind it that says classic TV series. It says Batman 66. That's the name of the comic book. So, and I'm hoping that they'll, like I said, do an animated version that looks more like Shatner. So let's go ahead and go over his articulation. And of course, the head rotates all the way around, looks down about that far, looks up about that far, not very far up, but a little bit. You can see that the head has some nice detail to it, some nice sharp cheekbones. Looks vaguely like Clint Eastwood. And of course, the green half of his face has all kinds of nooks and crannies where he's been scarred by the acid. And yes, it is a very colorful figure. It's got like a really nice bluish green to the face, and he's got like one thing that I will say about this figure that I think they could have done better on is you'll notice that the black side of his suit is very glossy, and I think they probably should have done that with like a little bit more of a matte paint. I don't necessarily mind it being glossy so much on the purple side, because that's supposed to be kind of loud and obnoxious, but I think the black side would have looked better if they had have painted it with more of a matte black. And this is a fairly soft, pliable plastic over the jacket, but the jacket is completely glued down to the chest, so it's not meant to be removable at all. But since it is softer and pliable, we can kind of probably move his legs a bit better. Shouldn't interfere with it. Like with the Joker and the Penguin, like the hem of their jacket was just so rigid. It was very difficult to move their legs because of it. But this one doesn't really have that kind of problem, so that's good. So the arms rotate all the way around like that. There we go. And the arms move up about that far. Not the best range of motion on the arms that we've seen in this line. We've seen some really good range of motion as far as like the up and down on these figures. This one's just a little more par for course. But, he's wearing the suit jacket, so I guess that kind of interferes with it a little bit. He does have a bend at the elbow. It's not a double-jointed elbow, just a single joint. So you get about that range of motion out of his elbows. And, of course, the elbows rotate all the way around. They don't rotate evenly because of the angle at the joint there, but they rotate enough. The wrists should rotate all the way around. And you can see that Harvey has regular Caucasian skin on his evil side, because in the comic books, the acid just got on his face. It's not like the animated series where like half of his whole body got blown up in the chemical explosion. It's his hand was undamaged. It just got on his face. Sent you a picture of Miranda and Henry in the messenger. Oh, well, I'll make sure to check that out later. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, we can see that he's wearing like a tuxedo type shirt underneath. This isn't a business suit like Two-Face is often shown as wearing. This is a tuxedo. It's a dinner jacket is the proper term for that. That's the type of tuxedo he's wearing. He's wearing a dinner jacket. But we can see that he has a tuxedo shirt on with a tuxedo collar and a bow tie. Very formal, this version of Harvey. I think that Two-Face looks better with a bow tie than a standard necktie. That's just me. I think that works better for the bifurcated nature of his clothing. Although we can see in this version, he just has a plain black tie. It's not, I don't know, green or whatever on the other side. He doesn't have like some kind of funky colored tie on the other side. It's all one solid color. And then, of course, the shirt is orange on the evil side and white on the good side. So over here, he's looking very Sean Connery. So that's nice. Legs move up about that far. Very stiff knee. Don't force it. Don't force it. It's you get kind of tempted to force it, but don't. All right, so we'll go ahead, and since I used the hair dryer on Mr. Freeze last time, I might as well go ahead and use the hair dryer on Harvey and see if we can loosen up these knees a little bit. So I just apply some heat from the hair dryer right at the knee joint. And hopefully that should soften up the plastic enough that we can get this knee to bend. There we go. All right, so that's the range of motion on the knees. And there we go. I guess I hit the purple side with enough heat that I was able to get those to bend now. And of course, those do rotate all the way around, much like with the elbow, but since it's at like a slant, it doesn't really go like it goes all the way around, but it doesn't necessarily like go like straight all the way around, if that makes any sense. So and of course the legs don't, there's no splits on this one. His legs just move up and down like an old school action figure, and that's fine. I'm fine with that on these figures. So very impressive looking action figure. I'm very happy with how that turned out. Let's go ahead and get a picture of him with his arch nemesis and former ally, Batman. So that's what they look like together. So in the animated movie, one of the things I liked about that movie was like there was a little bit of jealousy actually between Robin and like he was a little bit jealous of Harvey because like he was Bruce's friend, and like, you know, it's kind of like, dude, I'm your best friend, I'm Robin. But you know, like there was that was a pretty serious movie for the most part, especially for like something you would think like Adam West's last Batman project. Like he got to do some drama in that, and it was a really good movie. Like it was a seriously good Batman movie, I think. Like you know, I'm not saying it was a good Batman 1966 movie. I'm just saying it was a good Batman movie, and it just happened to use that version of the character. But I think even somebody who has some disdain for the original show could find a lot of things to like about that particular Batman movie. So I would highly recommend to anybody who hasn't seen it, check out the Batman versus Two-Face animated movie. You will not be disappointed. And if you're able to get this figure. You won't be disappointed. He's great. So I had gotten him on Big Bad Toy Store when I ordered the New Adventures Batman and Robin figures, and I went to look and see, like, you know, maybe they'll have something else. I like, oh, sure enough, they had Two-Face, and I did want to get this Two-Face figure, so I probably better go ahead and snap him up. And lo and behold, the next time I went to look at what Big Bad Toy Store had in stock, they were out of this figure. So I was able to get one for retail, just barely. I might have even gotten the last one, for all I know. So that's good. But I think you can still find him for a decent price on various online retailers. So if you're looking for him, you might still be able to find a time of recording on February the 21st, 2024. You can still get this figure for retail price if you know where to look. I'd poke around a few places and see if maybe you can turn one up. But yeah, he's a must-have, I think, for anybody who's collecting this line, because obviously Two-Face is just in general one of Batman's best villains. But the rather interesting history that Two-Face has with this particular iteration of the franchise, I think, makes him an interesting addition to any Batman 1966 classic TV series collection. So I highly recommend him. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. I gotta go get me something to eat. I'm really hungry. So I've still got the New Adventures versions of Batman and Robin coming up. So those will be figures that I will be opening hopefully over the next couple of days. As far as Batman 1966 figures, I have being shipped to me on the way as we speak currently. I have King Tut and Lord Deathman and Egghead. And I'm sure any of you familiar with the TV show are like, I know King Tut, I know Egghead, Lord Deathman. Hell, some of you familiar with the comics might not even know Lord Deathman, but I know Lord Deathman, and I'm excited about this figure, and I can't wait to talk about it. So that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. All the fun YouTube stuff down below. Thanks to my Aunt June for stopping by. Is always nice whenever she's able to make it live. I know she likes to make it live. Oh, I forgot a whole point of articulation there. He turns at the waist. So anybody who's watching it and already commented, you forgot to mention he turns whether or not he turns at the waist. Well, there you go. Now I mentioned it. All right, we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for stopping by. Goodbye.